Hello, everyone. I just had the panic of my life. My internet stopped working 2 minutes ago. I don't know what it was. We have two different lines, and the one that we usually use was not working. So I had to switch to our backup internet line. How's everybody doing today? Today's our last day. I'm excited to talk about. Oh, wait, where's my chat? So excited to talk about content today and kind of rounding out everything that we've been talking about the last 3 days. Love it. Okay. Let everyone come in. Hello, Oliver. All right, let's get our slides up. Okay. Today, all about content. Again, just to remind you where you're at, what we're doing with, really blending our messaging with our human design. And today we're talk a little bit about profile. I like to look at profile lines when we're talking about content because it's like your personality. It's a flavor of who you are. So it's kind of fun to play with when we're talking about content. And then we're going to talk about magnetic content, really creating a strategy around your content that doesn't have to do with buckets. It's not a bucket content strategy. And we're talking about creating a vortex around your content. So in the grand scheme of things, most people, again, like to start down here. But if we don't have these other things in place, then we're really kind of sitting down here spinning our wheels, trying to write the website, trying to create content that actually leads people to a sale. And if we don't know what that offer is, what the offer ladder is, what the unique selling point is, all of this becomes just kind of like, we end up looking at what other people are doing in their social media and trying to emulate it and trying to copy it in the best ways, right? But we end up boxing ourselves in instead of using content the way it was meant to be used as a way to express yourself and share your message, share what you're doing, share your offers so that people can decide to work with you. It's social platform, right? Okay. So if we're talking about creating this vortex of influence, magnetism creates this vortex. And we've talked a little bit about that and what magnetism is, but people are naturally attracted to you and captivated by what you do when you are creating this vortex. Your vortex is created when we make yourself visible in your marketing strategy and your messaging is consistent. That's why it's so important to go back to these other unique selling point, your offer, understanding who you are so you can keep your messaging consistent. I see so many people struggling with content because they haven't figured out what the consistent message is, right? They're trying to sell offers, and if they don't sell, then they're switching the offers and confusing your audience, or you're not talking about the problem you solve at all. And so if you're not talking about the problem that you solve, the solution that you provide, nobody knows really what you do. And if they don't know what you do, why would they follow you? Why would they buy, right? Thinking psychology wise. Sorry, that cold has still got me. Okay, the vortex of influence, it's activating the magnetism that we talked about yesterday. You feeling confident in what you deliver on. You're excited to share with people, and you have this solid belief that you don't need anything to happen, that it's already happening, right? The content clarity, which means you're showing up without attachment to the outcome. Again, this is like thinking about, if I make this one post, that means that someone's going to reach out to me and work with me one-on-one or whatever. Like you put an outcome, or you're thinking, I'm going to write this post and XYZ is going to happen. And in my experience, it doesn't matter how much you believe that's what's going to happen. That's not actually how anything ever comes. It always comes in a unique way, right? When you think about manifesting anything, it comes in a unique way. It's not going to come because you put one specific post out there. You may put that post out there and maybe someone reaches out to you from another platform, right? So it's just putting the content out there and knowing that by putting it out there, people are going to find you, and it doesn't matter how they find you, but they will. I lost my chat. Where did my chat go? That's Acrobat. Darn it. Where did my chat go? There we go. Don says, oh my God, Rachel, I remember being at the very start of this and being on this side of it. Yeah. Kirsten, when I was trying to work the Instagram algorithm, I struggled with clients. When I started putting out what I wanted and when I wanted, that's when the clients came. Yep, exactly. So any marketing strategy is honestly, it's just making yourself visible. What way is going to feel good for you to make yourself visible? That's all it is. And we also, in the content clarity, we need to have a consistent message, meaning that you can sell more than one thing. I want to make that clear, that you can sell more than one thing at a time, but the message overall is consistent across the board, whether it's if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, really doesn't matter. The message is consistent. No matter what platform someone finds you on, they're going to kind of find the same general idea of content, as well as the message is the same. And the last piece of this content clarity piece, committing to a strategy for 6 months. I know that this is the one thing that I think people don't do, is commit to a strategy. There are so many strategies out there that we almost get shiny object, right? You start in on one and you're like, okay, this kind of works. But then you see someone else doing something else and you want to immediately jump over there. By switching strategies, you're not giving anything time to actually gain traction and get a foothold, right? So what I mean by committing to something is saying, I'm going to be and show up and learn Instagram for the next 6 months. Really learn. If that's the strategy that you want and that you feel really good about, you love showing up on Instagram, you love the people that you follow, that kind of thing. I want to commit to 6 months of learning Instagram and really learning it, right? Not just throwing up a few posts and expecting clients to fall from the sky. Really committing to how Instagram works, right? It could be Instagram, it could be YouTube, Pinterest. Again, so many different strategies. Picking something and committing to it, especially in the beginning. If you're already on a lot of platforms, I'm on a ton of platforms, which ones do you want to commit to and giving your attention to? So I may cross promote on different channels. Like I have stuff going to LinkedIn, but I really don't pay any attention to what's going on at LinkedIn. My focus is Facebook, Instagram, and I want to put more attention on YouTube as well. Okay. And then encoding is the last piece. So this is, and we'll talk about this, is in visualizing your dreamy clients, loving it, like really visualizing them reading the content, enjoying the content, DMing you or reaching out, and then trusting the universe, like letting it go, visualizing this is what I want and just letting it go. There's no set strategy that will work for everyone. I want that out there as well, and you can't break this down. I think I've seen some content that's like, these people do better on Instagram. These people do better over here. And again, it's always filtered through your authority, through your strategy. Is this actually where you want to be? And filtering it through how how much time you have to give to a certain thing as well. Like, I think Instagram requires way more time, really, like more, I think, broken up time than say YouTube. YouTube is like, you sit down, you do the work for a couple hours and be done, and you don't have to be constantly on it, right? So it's different in that way. Which one really works with your life too? What, instead of asking, like, what is going to work for me, think about what's going to work for my human design. There we go. Asking instead, what feels really fun? How can I serve in a bigger way? How can I just allow or express myself in the way that I want to? Asking some of those deeper questions will get you a whole lot further than trying to fit yourself into a box. Let's talk about profiles. So each of the profiles has a superpower when you think of online presence, like any marketing strategy. And you can look at you can look at your conscious and unconscious. So the line one is their deep knowledge and what they love. When I see a line one, I want to know what they know. That they know a ton. How can you share more if you're a line one of that deep knowledge in your content? Line twos, they're genius that impacts and influences the world. I know that sometimes line twos also don't really see their genius, but I also think you know what you're good at when you sit and think about it and it's the thing that is so easy for you that everyone else struggles with. Line threes are challenging those falsehoods, standing up and saying, this isn't true. This is actually what works. It's that like trial and error process, right? Sharing what they have done, what they failed out, and what they've been successful at. Line fours are really, it's trust. You're a trusted authority and deep, meaningful relationships. Line fives, practical solutions, super important with that projection as a line five. Practical solutions to help once they've healed too. Really, I know a lot of line fives don't want to share their personal stories, and sharing your story is important as a line five, but making sure that you're not triggered in the story anymore. Like you're able to talk about something without triggering your own emotions. You're here, you've healed what you need to heal, and now you can help other people with it. And line sixes being that just being your authentic self is really what it is, or what you're meant to share on social media. And then I had a little fun with like your line ones are the type A's of the room. When you think of how you show up online, it's the type A's of the room. Line twos are the introverts that observe everything. They're a little quieter, but you know that they're paying attention to things that no one else is. Maybe even sharing what those little things that you notice that no one else is noticing. Line threes are the extroverts that do everything. Again, sharing that experience of doing everything. Line fours are the deep relationships and hate the small talk. Line fives solve everyone's problems, or they want to. Line sixes hate drama and march to their own drum. This is just a fun little play. Adrian says, when you have more of the other lines than your profile, does that matter for content? You mean in your profile, or like you're talking about the, like your Mercury gate is 26.4. Is that what you're thinking of, Adrian? Love the 2-4. Yeah. 5-1. You want to solve all the problems, and you want to solve all the problems as a line five, but you're really here to solve a certain problem. There's like one problem that you're like, this is really what I want to help people with. Really talking about that one specific problem. 1-3. Yeah. Love it. My investigators, I need my ones in my life. I am not a one, not even close. I need my ones to tell me all the things. Okay. So if you go into the structure of so now we're talking about like Instagram and Facebook, primarily social media content. There are like two columns, I guess you could call them two buckets, but really all the things that we need to think about are our selling posts and our core offer content. Okay. And we're going to mix these up throughout the week. You can have both, right? We're going to have both. Selling posts are talking about the result of your offer that you're selling. They're talking about the problem that you're solving. We're talking about belief shifts that need to happen. That means that you believe this one thing, but we need to shift that in order to want to come into my program. Is there any belief shifts that need to happen? Adding in testimonials. And getting specific testimonials too is really, really helpful. Somebody like a testimonial says, Tracy was great to work with, doesn't really give people a whole lot to understand what they were dealing with. So can you get almost like a case study in that they were dealing with XYZ before they came into the program. And now afterwards, this is what life looks like. I should have taken a cough drop. Getting specific with our testimonials is really helpful to actually selling. And you can use screenshots and you can do testimonials so many different ways now. It can be the screenshot of someone saying something. It can be an actual video testimonial of a client. It can be like play with it, right? You don't have to do testimonials in one specific way. It's the way that feels good for you and you want to share other people's stories. Oh, my goodness. Your core message posts are the educational how-tos. We don't have to have a ton of these. I would say maybe 2 a week of your core message. This just keeps that message consistent of what you're talking about, what you're here to do, your unique selling point. It's the how-to, it's the highlights of how working with you. It's teaching on your pillars, things like that. And then connecting, which is, it could be simple stories that story polls that connect with people. It's your story. If you have like the storytelling channels in your throat and a lot in your chart, all of this is going to be storytelling, not just this. This is more like me that doesn't have a whole lot of storytelling. I kind of have to force myself to go, I'm going to have a post that's talking about my story over here. But if you have storytelling in your chart, whether you have the channels, some of the gates are storytelling gates, it's in all of this. You're using story throughout all of it. Okay. 6-2, spot on. Love it. What if we share an oral testimonial? Yeah, you can share, again, like play with it. I feel like it's better to share in your way than to try and like force a testimonial. I can kind of tell when someone's just plugging a testimonial because someone told them they need one, right? Versus genuinely sharing the amazing things that are happening in your containers, if that makes sense. That you want to share when you're like, oh my gosh, the client just did this and I want to celebrate her, versus kind of sharing more from like, I know I have to have testimonials because it'll convince people. Does that make sense? Like the energy behind it. The anatomy of a social media post. So Facebook and Instagram, we're still talking about the compelling headline, unique and focused on them. So again, like I really want you to think about what is going to stop the scroll, what's going to like grab someone's attention, and make them want to read what you have to say. It could be, I mean, you can Google things on how to write good headlines, but it's basically, it's like, it's creating a little bit of shock, a little bit of like, ooh, I want to read more about this. It can be a pain point. It could be a desire. It could be a lot of those things, but I want you to think about what would make you stop and read this. So manifestors could be like that bold statement. Many gens can ask a question. Projectors, like making a statement about how you see them, or maybe you're, it's kind of like a bold statement, like a manifestor. A reflector, an insightful or thought-provoking question. Others, the storytelling content works if I have gate 33, but undefined throat. You have gate 33, but you're undefined. So you're still looking at what your audience is saying and then reflecting it back to them in your selling and how to content. Does that make sense? So you can storytell and talk about maybe it's a story, you're adding a little bit of a story of a client that went through your process in a selling post. And they said this thing. Does that make sense? I feel like my brain is getting foggier by the day with this stupid cold. Them equals dreaming client, right? Yes. Yes. Sorry, Jill. Oliver. Yes. Okay. Remind me of the storytelling gates and channels. So the storytelling channels are 35, 36, the 11, 17. Oh, my brain. Again, my brain. Gate 33, 11, the channel 1156. That's what it was. And channel 1333. Those are the big ones. Those are the big storytelling ones. Okay. Oops. And then the body is that whatever post you've decided to do. So if you've decided to do a selling post, then you're going into either it's a story or it's talking about the result of working of your offer. It's talking about the problem that you're solving. Like it's the body of the post. And then a call to action, making that strong call to action. What do you want people to do next? Making it stand out, but simple too. We don't want to complicate things. Like we don't want to ask a complicated question and like put your answer in the comments, like comment yes or no, right? Something like that, keeping it as simple as possible. Oh, Oliver, good. I'm glad that you like it. Okay. Now the connection piece of this is visualizing and connecting with your dreaming client. Social media is a connection platform, right? We want to connect with a person. If we are sitting here trying to write a post going, I don't know, I have to write, it becomes like you're trying to talk to everyone instead of talking to one person. So visualizing, closing your eyes, who are you talking to? And writing it for them, writing it to them. That one specific person will help you connect so much more on a micro level instead of trying to connect to everyone. Manifesting our dreaming client being drawn to our posts. Yeah. It's like manifesting our dreaming clients being drawn to our post. Exactly. Like having a muse. I like that. Yeah. Oh, Oliver, that's awesome. You do this. Yes. It is super, super powerful to, and honestly, I think once you start doing it a little bit, you'll notice that there is more traction on your posts than when you don't do it. And eventually it kind of just becomes a piece of writing your content. Yeah. Cool. And then the last piece of it is giving it a blessing. This is like using the universal algorithm instead of the Facebook algorithm, but just visualizing that they're reading it, they love it, they're reaching out to you, and then just asking the universe to take it to whoever needs it. and who for the highest good of everyone, right? And releasing it. And then like literally releasing it. And instead of posting that reel and then checking back every 5 seconds to see how many views you have, but you're putting it out there, releasing it, come back and engage, right? We know that it will push it out more if you're engaging with people on when they comment, but just releasing it and not being so tied to what are the views doing? Who's commenting? Am I getting any comments, any likes? Like those are vanity matrix. We all know that they don't really matter. You can have a ton of vanity matrix and not be making any money. And the opposite is true. You can have not a whole lot of comments and likes, but still be making really good money. So releasing that idea that we have to get something when we put that out there. It will come when you don't need it to come, right? Love finds you when you're not looking for love. And know this, that confused people don't buy. So again, this is why our message needs to be as consistent as possible throughout all of our content. Why we need to understand what our USP is, to our offer ladder and how the offer ladder is working with the USP, and then how we translate that to our sales pages and our websites, and it all connects so that so that people come to our place, our visible places, and know what we sell, who it's for, and why they should buy. And creating one other thing that I found, because I get asked a lot, like, should you batch content? Should you do this or that? And honestly, it's just creating a system or a process that works for you. I like creating a plan each month, sitting down at the beginning of each month and going, what do I want to promote? And making sure I'm still sprinkling in core messaging, but what do I want to promote this week or this month? And creating my content strategy around that. I always try to imagine that my content just helps one person and it's worth it. Yeah, I love that, Teresa. Going back to something I read day one, what is your offer on finding your USP from the flowchart? So everything is inside the membership. It's all inside the membership. That's what I'm moving towards, is having basically all the content inside the membership. I have some lower ticket stuff, but right now all of the content is inside the membership. You can do if you're like, I just need help with one thing and it's my USP or it's my sales page. I do have one-to-one single sessions that you and I can sit down and go through your USP and clarify it, or your sales page or your website. If you're looking for just like one-off single session help, I do have that. But DIY content, it's all inside the membership at the moment. When you're selling an offer, focus your content on the result, the outcome, the problem that you solve, and how your framework is unique. So that's your unique selling point. How your unique selling point is getting people to that solution and out of that problem. I think that's it. So I just wanted to go back over the membership. If you are wanting to join, the bonus ends tonight. My content went really fast today, so I hope you guys have questions. And really I want to ask the question of, do you feel like your messaging is consistent throughout your business? Is this something that you feel is important to you? Again, filter it through your own intuition, your own authority. I do believe that if it's not consistent, that's when we strategy hop. That's when we're creating cookie cutter messaging. And we're wondering why other people do this better and feeling like we can't do it when we can. It's 100% possible. Inside the club, we're solving this problem of how do I articulate what I do? Because we're creating that magnetic message that deeply resonates with our clients. We're solving the problem of what is my niche, because we're creating consistent brand messaging that clearly articulates the problem that we solve, and our ideal clients find us. We don't have to chase. We don't have to go out there and like grab for things. They come to us. And we're solving the problem of how do I show my authority and expertise, because we're structuring everything around a unique selling point. That's your expertise. That's how you create authority. Even if you have a small audience, even if you don't have anyone following you or an email list or anything like that, you create that authority through your unique selling point. Again, you get all that content. So creating your USP, creating your aligned offers, the human design support, and that how to write content, how to write websites and sales pages, emails, all of that stuff. How do we translate all of that into our actual physical messaging on the internet? Live support, office hours, audit calls to really go in depth and make sure that what you're writing is aligned to you. And 2 options. If you want the VIP, you're going to go faster, more in-depth, more energetic mindset support, or just the main membership, which still gives you tons of live support and monthly audits. So questions. Christine says, if I've purchased DIY content like last week, it'll be applied to the membership. What did you buy, Christine? Is it the Authentic Messaging Unfiltered? That one, or did you buy Moneymaker? I'm trying to think. I can't if I saw your purchase come through or not. I don't remember. Anyone have questions about creating content with your unique selling point, or creating content at all in general? What has been your like biggest frustration with content? We can talk about that too. What do you find difficult? Okay, so you did get the Moneymaker. I do have a small discount code for you. If you email me, I will give you that discount code. Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? I feel like I must have talked Monday or the first 2 days. I went through content fast today. But really, honestly, the biggest thing that I feel with any type of marketing strategy is you have to be excited. You have to be lit up. It has to be the way that you're like, this feels easy to me. Anytime you start to put like, God, I have to create content. I don't want to. That is that's going to shut down the energy and not allow you to actually attract the way you want to, right? Do we use our profiles in order to promote social media content ideas? You can, yeah. It's kind of like understanding what your profile is, and then do you feel like you could use that in some way on your social media? Like I'm a 4/6, so I honestly just try to show up as much as myself as possible. It's that 6th line. And since I'm on the roof, I allow myself I've structured things on my social media where all my posts are pretty automatic. I don't have to do a whole lot with them. They go out no matter what. And then that way I can retreat and not post if I don't want to post, and only post when I feel excited and like want to create a reel or something like that. And then that 4th line, finding ways to be deeper with people like this, doing a workshop series like this allows me to get deep into the content with people. So again, it's like, what are the ways that you like to show up? What are the ways that feel fun? If you hate reels, don't do them. Find another way. There's so many other ways. Okay. Christine says, you have honestly made me see exactly where I'm missing the mark and need to shift. I just implemented a launch strategy, sweet, created by a manifesting generator, and it was so exhausting for me as a manifester. Oh, that's so fascinating. Yes. And I see that. Yeah. Christine, really, your marketing strategies are going to be, how do you want to show up? Like, you're not going to do it the way other people are going to do it. You can learn from them. Yes. Like, learn what that Manny Jen did, and then take the pieces that you feel like, yeah, I want to do it that way, or this piece of it and this piece of it, and make your own marketing strategy. That one coach I talked about, I think it was on the first day, I had a coach that was a manifester, and she would do the most wild marketing things. Like, she did a secret strategy where she didn't tell you actually what she was selling, which blew my mind. I was like, I could never pull that off. She just said, here's what we're going to do. Or what did she even say? It was super secretive, and she sold it. And I think she sold out of it, but she didn't really actually tell anyone what she was doing. It was bonkers to me, but she could do that because she's a manifestor. Right. But it came from her authority. It came from her intuition of like, do it this way. Right. As a 4/6 Gen, I tend to preach and educate on social media, but I have a hard time selling my coaching packages. Okay. So definitely want to look at, do you really feel connected to that coaching package? Right. If you feel like you're like, I don't want to sell, what's holding you back? Because if you believe in the outcome of your offer, you believe then that people need it. And if you're not sharing it, then people aren't getting it. And that's doing a disservice, right? People that could be solving their problem aren't, because you're not sharing it. If you believe in the outcomes, and that's why it's so important to have that aligned offer that you truly believe in, you know that you can deliver on these results. It's fucking amazing. You're so like, this container is amazing. You need to be in it. And then it's just getting comfortable with talking about the outcome of it, the problem that you're solving, the way that you're solving it. Where I need support is my outcome and promise. I'm so can't talk. I'm so process oriented. I have trouble choosing an outcome. Will you be helping us with that? Is that anyway? Yes. It's not necessarily in your chart, but I am 100% helping you with that. That is like, it's so pivotal to know what the outcome is, and specifically to your ideal client. This is the positioning of your offer to your ideal client, right? So it's understanding who you're making this offer for, to be able to figure out what that outcome is and what problem it's solving. So definitely help you with that in the membership. I work with female entrepreneurs on nervous system embodiment. I've got extraordinary results with that. But in terms of tangibilities, I don't have the things they want on the surface level. Like, I have the calm system that doesn't freak out, but I don't have the money. Can you help me? Well, we don't have to sell on the money. Do you feel like, and this is a huge thing, because I feel like a lot of marketing out there is talking about, oh, if you have a calm system, then you're going to make XYZ money, right? It's all tied to money and making six figures and all this other bullshit. I don't subscribe to that. I think that more and more people are wanting the other outcomes. They realize that they don't care as much about the money. They want the meaning. They want the freedom. They want the joy and the purpose, right? So tying things back more to that, but even more so, it's getting it's female entrepreneurs, nervous system embodiment. It's getting specific and like, what is the nervous system embodiment doing? It's calming them. Well, what does calming do for you? Calming allows you to make bold decisions and trust them. And what happens when you make bold decisions in your business and decide, you grow your business, because you're not afraid to take that bold move. As a CEO, as a business owner, you have to be willing to make bold moves that no one else is, because that's how you grow your business, right? Does that make sense? When you regard no longer being triggered as a tangible outcome. Yeah, I mean, no longer being triggered, I would put it into a specific scenario would be the next step. So no longer being triggered. Well, what would trigger you before? No one commenting on your posts. You trigger and be like, oh shit, maybe that post wasn't good, right? Getting specific about what that trigger is. Or maybe the trigger is no one is, you launch and that first day that you open cart, no one joins. And you're starting to spiral down. What do you do in that moment? Okay. I do believe it. So just need to share outcomes and as testimonials. You can share testimonials and outcomes. It's just getting comfortable believing that there's someone out there that needs your service. And by you not talking about it, they're not finding it. So how can you talk about it more so that they know what you're offering, right? I'm guessing that you're doing a lot of the like USP and how-to content, stuff like that, but no one really knows how to work with you. Tell them how to work with you. Tell them how you solve a problem for them. I often feel I have to speak to six-figure shit. Yeah. Want to speak to other things, but feel I haven't known how. Yeah. I mean, there's so much six-figure garbage out there. I feel that pressure as well, that to say that, oh, you're going to clean up your message and you're going to be making six figures. That could be an outcome. But that's not the outcome I want to play to. I don't think you really care about that. I mean, we all care about money, but what you really care about is creating a message that feels authentic to you. What you really care about is attracting the right people. What you really care about is growing a business that feels really good and is aligned to you. So thinking about it in that way, like, what do your clients really care about? Yeah, they care about money. We all care. We have to care about money. But what do they really deep down care about? How do you detach from vanity matrix when your goal is converting through content? Ooh, I love that question. Okay. Detaching from vanity matrix. Number one, they don't mean anything. That's what I always tell me. They don't mean anything. We really don't know what's going on behind the scenes of someone, or like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes of my own launch, right? I mean, what I mean by this is that you don't know what someone else is thinking. They could be watching you and absorbing your content, ready to jump in. But they have said nothing. They haven't liked anything. They literally are completely oblivious to you until one day they're like, oh, actually, I would really like to work with you. I detach because they don't mean anything. They really don't mean anything. Yes, I would love to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That'd be great. But in the meantime, I continue to put out the best content that I can in the ways that I know grow a YouTube channel. And I don't worry about getting that 1,000 subscribers. I put that intention out there, but I'm not worried about getting there because I will get there at some point. It's like believing, I feel like if we attach to the vanity matrix, then we're taking that control from the universe. Like we're saying, we can get there. We can figure this out. We know how to get there, when we don't. We really don't. We have no idea when something could go viral. It's our job just to show up, put out the best content that we can in our own authentic voice, and leave the rest to the universe. Adrian says, I haven't sold anything before. Can just start by telling stories about experiences and context to the niche. Yeah. Or USP and core. Yeah. If you haven't sold anything before, like, you don't need testimonials. I sell all the time without testimonials. Like, I haven't had a whole lot of testimonials on the club. Club is fairly new, but I've sold a lot without testimonials. You don't need them. And you can just start talking. Like, if you have an offer, put that basic offer together and then start talking about it along with your core messaging with the call to actions of reaching out to you. I need to put your suggestions feedback as a daily affirmation. Oh, Christine, I love it. Offer. Awesome. Jill says, I have a hard time with end of post engagement prompt, like comment yes if you agree, because it often feels so obvious as social media technique rather than a genuine way of speaking. Yeah, I totally get that. I feel like I kind of bounce around too, because you see a lot of people saying, comment this or DM me this. And honestly, it's more of how do you want people to engage with you? Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to DM? People are just distractible. And if you don't tell them to take that next step, they won't think to do it themselves. They'll just scroll on, right? So what is that genuine step that you want them to take? Do you want them, like if you wrote a post about, maybe it was a how-to or something, and you want to know what part of it resonated, asking that, or ask them, have you ever tried XYZ? And start that conversation. So it's what do you genuinely want them to do? Simone says, will authentic messaging unfiltered make sense for me to purchase and continue on from here if I am yet to gain clarity on my core message offer content? So authentic messaging unfiltered is going to give you a custom report on your human design and how you specifically communicate. And then it's going to give you a few guides on starting to create your unique selling point. So it's like the very first step. So absolutely jump in there, grab that. It's not going to talk about content and it's not going to talk about offer. So if it sounds like you're new, Simone, like you haven't found clarity on an offer. If you're super new, have you ever worked with anyone? Because that's the other piece. If you're super, super new, the club might not be the best place either. I would say the unfiltered is a good place to start on what your unique voice is. And then it's just a matter of figuring out what you're good at. What do you want to do as a coach? If you're a coach, thanks. Good advice. Perfect, Jill. So, yeah. Any other questions? Anybody else sitting on the fence of joining? I'd love to have you. And I will say, Christine, you're so welcome. The doors will stay open to the club for now. The bonus is going away, but the doors are going to stay open for a little while. I know that there's timing is always a thing. So yeah, that's it. You're welcome, Michelle. I'm at a point two, still really new and clarifying my message, picking up authentic messaging and village. Sweet. Great. Simone, I'm definitely early stages of taking action. I have some ideas, although so done with taking action that it drains me. So finding things that energize. Yeah. Honestly, Simone, just getting really honest with yourself. What do you really want out of a business? Like, how do you want your business to look? You can look at it. Do you want to sell digital products and start there? Or do you want to work with clients one-to-one? Start there, right? Like, what do you want your business to look like? And at least right now, like if you had to choose right now in this moment, it can always change. You're not locked into anything. What do you want it to look like right now? Christine, perfect. I'm so amazing. You're so amazing at what you do. Oh, thank you. I'm joining. Yay, Kristen. That's fantastic. Thank you. Awesome. You're so welcome, Simone. Yeah. It's so hard in the beginning when there's so many different choices to pick from, but it's really, what do you want? What kind of business do you want to create? You have a plethora of options, and honestly, anything is possible. So if anything was possible, what would you create? I feel like I got distracted for a long time in the beginning, trying to create something that I didn't actually want. Then getting back on track. So, I mean, it's all a journey. It's up and down, right? Every entrepreneur will tell you it's a roller coaster. Yeah, it's a roller coaster. Awesome. Well, thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. Oh, good. I'm so glad it was helpful. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, hopefully I'm better. I don't feel bad. I just have a cough and I'm stuffed up. I don't feel bad though. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. I am so, so grateful that you came and got so much out of this. And yeah, I hope to see you around and connect some more. So thank you guys.